I will kiss a girl on the lips dry. When any moisture starts to come in, I'm out. Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 14, Episode 11, Hot Mess Express. Yeah. Before I start watching, and I know I'm in for like a whole new fresh hell with this party for Shannon, I just want to give a real quick shout out to Janet and Joe and a couple more of you guys who left comments that were very sweet, thanking me for my dedication in re-recording last week's video. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I got 3/4 of the way through the show and realized that my microphone wasn't on. You know, here's the thing. I am usually so careful. I got this new microphone. I'm just going to show you guys. It's pretty inexpensive. I found it on Amazon. And usually my OCD with checking the settings comes out very, very strong. I'm usually checking like several times during my filming. Not only do I want to check that it's on, and I want the volume to be up at the highest level, because I can adjust the volume in editing a little bit, but I want to make sure it's at least loud enough to begin with. The one that gives me OCD the most is the setting in the middle is an echo effect. I am always terrified that I am going to have this echo on. Record the entire episode with this echo effect. And yeah. So I am always like super, super careful that echo is all the way off, volume's all the way on. So to be honest with you, I don't know what happened. It might have been because I was charging it and I don't know. I'm not even going to make an excuse for it. It was just a stupid mistake and it cost me some time. Yeah, so after like an hour and a half at least, that is when I don't know even why I glanced down to check my settings. Probably just one of my many checks for that echo effect. That's when I noticed it was off. And it isn't like I get sound just from my phone. I film on my phone. No, because this thing is plugged into my phone, it is silent. So, not my best day, but you guys were very sweet about it. Specific shouting out to Janet Gordon, who said that she really appreciated how much work I put into my videos and that I was up after midnight. And Janet, as you know, I told you I almost cried. I'm going to show you guys. It's only 25 seconds, but it is the little piece of me finding out that the microphone was not on. I didn't turn that on the whole time. Yeah. So yeah, I was having a little moment there. Not so happy. But that's okay. It's all good. Anyway, I'm anxious to dig into episode 11, so let's get started. Okay, I'm already confused. Tamra and Vicky are getting their makeup done for Shannon's birthday party on the train? I literally feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Was there or was there not an entire conversation on the golf course with Tamra saying that the birthday parties this year were going to be separate because Shannon wanted to go bar hopping? And Tamra's like, so I didn't invite you because I thought you're kind of past all that. And Vicky goes, oh yeah, I'm past all that. Right? Did I dream this whole thing? Hopefully that's not what I dream about. I mean, and now there she is. They're talking about how the theme of the party is pulling a train, and there has to be penises on the train. Vicky goes, well, I don't think Kelly's going to like that. And Tamara goes, oh, I think she's over it. You mean like the way you got over Vicky's rumor about Eddie being gay? Yeah, remember how easily you got over that? Could you imagine for like 1 second if Kelly had a party for Shannon based on gay husbands? Would Tamara be over that? Neither are true. I know some of you guys have your doubts. But let's start with the premise that neither of those are true. Eddie is not gay. Kelly didn't pull a train. The rumor can still be hurtful even though it's not true. So one more time real quick, Tamara, why did you choose an ugly rumor about Kelly to be the theme of the party for Shannon's birthday? Because I'm not getting it. Okay, now we're doing one of those things where we flip to all the ladies who are getting ready to go on this train ride to Del Mar. We have Shannon in the car with two of her girlfriends. I don't remember their names. I doubt that it matters. No offense. She said, well, babe, I think that's what she calls that old guy she was making out with in The Quiet Woman. I think that's what she calls him. But his name was like Kevin. No, Ken, I think. Again, doesn't matter. So she said, babe called to wish me a happy birthday, so that was good. Let's see if anybody else on the bench steps up to the plate. Then we cut to Bronwyn, who's in the car, and she calls Tamara and said, okay, I'm almost there. And Tamara goes, well, don't be late because then you can't get on the train. Then we see Gina and Kelly who are arriving together, and they look all cute and they're taking selfies. Here's my question. Does Kelly know the whole train thing is based on the ugly rumor? Because I doubt that she would go if she did. I don't know. She seems to be either oblivious or just A-okay with it. Next, we have a very weird and suspiciously unnatural scene. Like, I wonder if this was not take one. Let's just say. We see Emily sitting at a little table at the train station waiting for the others, and Megan King Edmonds shows up. She gets out of the car. She looks adorable as usual, except she's wearing a conductor's hat. Like, do we have to be that on the nose? This reminds me of the ladies wearing sombreros to Mexico, or you know how they dress up for every single place they're going. Okay, so this is why I think this is weird, because or edited weird. Emily goes, hi, I'm Emily. And Megan goes, oh, hi, how are you? Doesn't say I'm Megan. And then she said, everything okay? And she goes, oh, yeah, I'm just tired. Oh, okay. Then she sits down and says, okay, I just met you 3 seconds ago, but I feel like something's wrong. I wouldn't do that to somebody I just met 3 seconds ago. I don't know. I mean, maybe if under the circumstances of this show, I would, but it just seems like it would be prying. Anyway, Emily goes, wow, you're very perceptive. Yeah, something's going on. Okay, everybody else is arriving now. I am so confused. I know I say that all the time. But is this party on the train? Is that what the party is? I thought they were just taking a train to Del Mar, and once they get there, they're going to bars and hanging out and all that. I didn't realize it was like a party train, but they've got a big sign that says Hot Mess Express, and, you know, I don't know. Bronwyn has a conductor hat for Shannon, too. Probably doesn't like that Megan has her own conductor outfit on, but yeah, so she's got a whistle, a train whistle, and a hat, and Bronwyn's cackling. I wonder if Gina got the cackle from Bronwyn or if it's just a coincidence, because Bronwyn's like, I've been a mother for 19 years and I'm going to party. That cackle, man, that's rough. So they all take a picture together. Nobody seems surprised to see Vicky except me. Okay, nope. It's nothing special, just an Amtrak. It's an hour and 15 minutes to San Diego, which is, I guess, where Del Mar is. Kelly is, she's laughing off the whole train thing. You just have to laugh at it. That rumor is so absurd. I would be so lucky if 8 guys liked me at once. I love that her assessment of a train is to have 8 guys like her at once. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, lucky is not exactly how I would describe that, but okay. I have a couple of observations about what's happening next. First of all, they are not in their own private car of this train. There are other commuters. That's the first thing that you need to keep in mind when I'm about to tell you what happens now. Tamara wants Shannon to take out this penis-shaped lollipop or something. I don't think it's a lollipop. Like maybe it's gummy. I don't think it's hard like a lollipop. She's telling Shannon to put it in her mouth. And then Tamara takes it and she goes, I'm just going to bite the balls. And so she does bite a piece off. That's why it's either made out of something like a Starburst or gummy, or like it's not a lollipop. Then she tells Kelly, or Kelly takes it from her. And the second Kelly is going to put this thing in her mouth, Tamara whips out her phone to videotape it. Come on, take it all, do it. Egging her on. And Kelly does it as if she's just having fun with girlfriends. No, people. Do you not understand that there is an enemy among you? This is gold for Tamara. This is stuff she will use against you in a heartbeat. With a camera crew and a bunch of cell phone cameras? Nope. Do not do that. That's the stuff that's going to end up online. And who do you think is going to pay the price for that? Could it be your 12-year-old daughter? Come on, Kelly. For once, give your daughter a break. How about that? Side note, I would like to give a special shout out to the Gina talking heads. All of them, all the girls. First of all, you never know who you're going to get. You never know what she's going to look like or what she's going to sound like. But it's always entertaining. And I don't think I've given her enough credit for the entertainment that adds to this show. She's very animated. This time, Kelly is talking to the ladies about Dr. Brian Regan. He went into surgery, and when he got out of surgery, he had a tough day, and he went to a bar, but he told Kelly he would call her, and he didn't. So she called him, found out he was at a bar, and he's like, well, what? What's the problem? Vicky is still on her best behavior with Kelly. You know, she's still surrendering. And she said, no, that's right. You're in a committed relationship. He should call you when he says he's going to call. And Kelly's like, right? Because he normally calls me. This was so long. This was like 5.5 hours. So then we get Gina's talking head. Single Kelly is very different than committed Kelly. Now it's like, oh my God, it's been 45 minutes. I don't know if he's cheating on me or not. That leash is so tight. I love it. I love the show. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it is the best part of Gina. When she is in the confessional talking to the camera, I, for one, am here for it. Thank you to all the Ginas. So then Kelly tells them that he called her insecure, and they're like, oh. Then we see the text thread, and I mean, well, let me just say, this is what it says. Dr. Brian Regan says, side note, he is in her phone as Dr. Brian. Not Brian, Dr. Brian. Just in case anybody accidentally forgets that she is dating a doctor. Anyway, he said, this happens every week with you. It's the distance. It makes you insecure. That wasn't horrible. That's not like calling her out as being an insecure person. You know, it's a little different. And her response, I'm insecure? You don't know how to be in a relationship. I'm hardly insecure. Oh, yeah. Nothing proves how sure you are of yourself than flying off the handle for a small, innocuous comment. And then pot stirrer Tamara says, Gina, tell us how your dating life is going. Like she doesn't know how Gina's dating life is going. And Shannon goes, oh, well, Gina's getting set up with Shane's cousin. Gina goes, no. And she goes, well, you scheduled another date, right? And Gina goes, yeah, I mean, I don't think you gotta talk about that right now. I got stood up, it's fine. And Emily goes, yeah, that didn't happen. So Tamara goes, ooh. Shut up, Tamara. Okay, so they get to Del Mar, and first stop is this restaurant, the Poseidon. They're sitting down there, I guess just for drinks. So they're all sitting at a table, and a comment is made, of course, from Tamara. You two are sitting next to each other. It's Kelly and Vicky, and Kelly's like, yeah, I know. So they're getting along okay right now. I think Kelly in her confessional said that she forgives but will never forget. And then at the other end of the table, Shannon is sitting next to Gina, and she observes that she's not sitting next to Emily. And Gina said, yeah, we're kind of going through a little something right now. Then we go back over to Vicky, and she is telling Kelly that Gina and Emily, Shane, and Shane's cousin were supposed to all go out on a double date. And Vicky tells her, and then it turns out that he had a girlfriend. And Gina here is listening to this, and she goes, how did you know? Vicky goes, I was there with you at Shannon's house when you told us. And she goes, yeah, but I mean, how did you know that he had a girlfriend? Vicky, oh, Tamara told me. Of course Tamara told you. Now, if that were Emily, Gina would be furious with her. But because it's Tamara, I'm going to guess that Gina's going to let that slide. It doesn't fit in with her becoming new best friends with Tamara and Shannon, right? So Gina does not want to talk about it. But of course, that's a cue for everybody to talk about it. So Kelly jokingly goes, Emily, because Emily's at the opposite end. Gina's like, Kelly. She goes, I'm just kidding. And Emily's like, what? Are you talking about me? And Kelly goes, I'm just kidding. God. So Vicky then says, so did you take this like a serious date? Vicky, she doesn't want to talk about it. How many times an episode do I have to tell you guys I would never be friends with these ladies? It's true. So Emily gets upset. In her confessional, she goes, apparently she's talking to everybody else about it, but she is icing me out. So she said, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Megan said, do you want me to go with you? And she goes, yeah. So Megan gets up too. And then Bronwyn goes, I'm going to go check on her. So the three of them leave. Shannon's like, she got very reactionary just then. So we're going to get this back and forth now. At the table, Gina goes, I'm just going to put this out there. If you're going to set me up on a date, know enough about the guy to know if he's already in a relationship. In the bathroom, Emily is telling Megan and Bronwyn that I've been trying to reach out to her. She won't tell me what I did wrong. She won't even speak to me. She won't let me explain. She acts like I murdered someone. I set her up on a double date. It didn't work out. They never even went on a date. Anyway, Emily does not want to go back to the table. So Bronwyn goes back to the table to report that to everybody out there. And they're like, oh my God, just get her out here. And she goes, she doesn't want to come. So Tamara, of course, Gina, maybe you should just go talk to her. Gina, yeah, go. So Gina gets up from the table and she's like, oh, of course she's in the bathroom because she knows I'm a germaphobe. This is like my worst nightmare in a public bathroom. She's got this big blue fur jacket on, but she's hunched over and she's lumbering. It's like a very sad Cookie Monster. Okay. So she heads into the bathroom, and Emily is still talking to Megan and saying, no harm, no foul. It's not like she was emotionally invested. She never even went out with this guy. Side note, that's not the point, Emily. I get what you're saying, but you set her up with a guy that was already dating somebody else. I think Gina should absolutely let you say your piece. I think she should hear you out. And I also don't think for a second that Emily knew this. I mean, that is all on him. And, okay, this is going to be maybe my first side note within a side note. Side note, if I were the girl he was dating, he'd be single, Gina. Just letting you know. He'd be all yours. So I just think that Emily is now talking very defensively. That's not what she should be focusing on. I know she's hurt that Gina won't even give her the opportunity to explain herself, but Emily should be very, very sorry that this jerk already had a girlfriend that she did not know about. Tell Gina how sorry she is that is how it turned out, because she knows that she's in a pretty vulnerable place right now in her life. And then make sure she understands that you didn't know anything about it. I think that's how I would be. Anyway, while she's talking to Megan, Gina walks into the bathroom. And I was laughing earlier because this scene is so funny. There are two women who are just waiting to get into an open stall. And the camera now pans to Gina, who is behind them. And they're like quickly trying to move out of the way. And anyway, Gina goes, I've done my best. Like, I just met Megan. I would never bring her into my business. And Megan, you shouldn't get involved in our business. And then to the confession camp, she's like, who the fuck is Megan? I just met this girl and you're going to spill your guts to her in the bathroom? So Megan goes, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So she heads into the stall behind them. And now they're screaming at each other, and Emily is crying. Gina tells her to have more confidence, and she goes, how can I? You wouldn't even talk to me. And then she said, oh, just checked my microphone again. See, I am paranoid right now. All right. And then she said, because I'm mad at you right now. And Emily said, I'm mad at you right now. I'm mad at you. And Gina goes, okay, yeah, I know, Emily. So Emily leaves and she's crying. And you hear her talking to a producer saying, get me a car. I want to get out of here. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, Megan comes out of the stall. And what does Gina do? Starts talking to her about their personal business. Well, two observations here. One, you're talking to Megan. Who's Megan? Right, Gina? And that Megan should stay out of your personal business, but now you're telling Megan your personal business. And two, you brought your cocktail into a public restroom. And you call yourself a germaphobe? How dare you, ma'am? That is an insult to all true germaphobes. Okay, so while Emily is sitting outside of the place waiting for a car, Kelly comes to talk to her and she's like, what's going on? And she's telling her, I am in a bad mood. Be careful. I want to fight somebody. Gina's talking to everybody else, but she won't talk to me. So Gina comes out now. She's like, can I just talk to her? And Kelly goes, she doesn't think you're a bad person. She just wants you to talk to her and not tell everybody else what's going on. And Gina goes, well, because I'm mad at her. Can I just take a beat before I feel like talking to her? She says more calmly, I just wish you wouldn't have set me up with someone that you didn't know definitively didn't have a girlfriend. Now, this is interesting because with what she said earlier, before I get set up with someone, I would just wish that people would know for sure that they weren't in a relationship. She said that earlier, and now she's saying that same thing right now. That's a little bit different than what she said in the store with Tamra last week. She said this guy, I don't even think we got his name, did we? Anyway, she said that he told her Emily and Shane knew I had a girlfriend and they thought it would be okay. That's way different. Then now it sounds like Gina is opening the possibility that they didn't know. And now she's mad that they should have known for sure that he didn't. In my head, I kept thinking, why doesn't Gina say to her, this guy told me you and Shane knew about his girlfriend ahead of time? Because that's an allegation that Emily can flat out deny and then, take it up with Shane's cousin. But she's not saying that, and that makes me think that she may have tweaked the truth a little bit last week, and that he didn't actually say that. That was a big part of last week, because she even ended the episode by saying Emily knew, and Shane knew too, and then that prompted Tamra to say, it's just a dirty deal. So, something's off. Anyway, Emily goes, I don't know who this girlfriend is. Who is she? I never met her. I don't know her. I never heard of her before. And Gina goes, I don't know who she is either. And Emily goes, neither do I. Okay, I feel like Emily explains it a little bit in her talking head. She said, I didn't know this cousin very well. Shane didn't grow up with him, and so I've only met him a couple of times. And Gina met him at a party about a year ago, and they kind of hit it off. And so now I thought to myself, maybe that would be somebody she might like now that she's single. I just thought, well, let's go on a date and see how it goes. So I believe her. Okay, so now Tamara and Shannon come to where they're talking or arguing. And Shannon just wants everybody to stop. You know, she's blowing her damn train whistle and trying to get people to, just get over it. Come on back to the table. Let's have some fun. And it's not going so well. I thought for like a moment there, they were getting to a place where they could like calm down, at least where they could sort of table it for a little bit. But it got bad again. And Gina went back to the table and Vicky's like, where's Emily? What's going on? And Gina goes, Emily didn't do anything wrong. Apparently, I'm a bad person. Okay. When she left Emily, the last thing she said was, then don't set me up with someone you don't know very well. I mean, I don't think you have to worry that Emily is going to set you up with anybody ever again. But that was kind of her parting words. And like I said, she went back to the table and she acted like Emily's not taking blame for anything and she's making me out to be a bad person. Now Shannon comes to the table and Shannon's like, there's always something wrong with her. Let's not forget, Shannon's got her own history with Emily. So of course nobody is going to see Emily's side, which is, I don't know, from a purely objective standpoint, I don't know how everybody doesn't see Emily's side. She did not do that on purpose. So all that's left outside is Emily and Tamara. Emily, please be careful around her. I cannot stress this enough. I want Emily to be careful around Tamara. I want everyone to be careful around Tamara, just to be clear. Anyway, she gets her to come back to the table. Bronwyn changes the subject and says, hey guys, my daughter is having a fashion show next week and I want you all to come. Then we see a picture of Rowan in one of her leotards. I'm assuming it's one of hers. She's so cute and I cannot wait for this fashion show, you guys. I told you before, it's like, I think it's called Dark Rabbit. I can't wait to see her pieces. All right, everyone has moved on to the next bar, and they are so obnoxious and screaming. Shannon's got her whistle, and she's like, I saw someone that I thought was whistle-worthy, but I was afraid to blow the whistle. And Tamara goes, she wants to get laid tonight. And then, I don't know who she said, you're not that innocent. I think to Vicky, because then Vicky goes, you're a whore, real loud. And you get this reaction shot from this woman who's like, side note, guys, some of you know this because I've mentioned it in comments before. It is my personal goal to be in a public place when the Housewives are filming so that I can give a horrified reaction shot. I want to do something like, I want to look super offended, either by the language or by how loud they are. I will be like, I will turn around and I want to look at like whoever I'm sitting with and go, oh. I'm going to really ham it up though, because I need to make sure that it makes it in the final cut. Just so you know, that's the kind of thing that I aspire to. Just like this lady. I mean, this lady was good because it was sort of subtle. I would not be that subtle. Anyway, Tamara's saying that Shannon wants to get laid, and Shannon goes, no, I just want a kiss. That's all. Okay, so Shannon quietly asks Tamara to go on a bar sweep with her. Why she whispered this to Tamara, I don't know, because the second they get up, they go into the other room where the bar is, and Tamara yells, is anybody single? They even go into the kitchen of this restaurant. Anybody single in here? Shannon wants to get laid. And Shannon, oh! So they sit back down, and then Tamara says to Bronwyn, are we going to make out later? I feel like we're going to make out. And they're on either side of Gina. And Gina goes, well, you guys kind of already did that, didn't you? Then we get flashback to them in the pool, kissing. On the other side of Bronwyn is Emily. So Emily reaches around Bronwyn and taps Gina on the shoulder, and she said, hey, I love you. And I guess Gina rolled her eyes. I didn't quite see that, but Emily said, don't roll your eyes. And then Gina and Bronwyn switched places. So now Bronwyn is next to Tamara and Gina is next to Emily. And she says to her, listen to me, on my children's lives, I would never put you in a position to hurt you or embarrass you. And you have to believe that. I would never do that to you. Do you believe me? And Gina goes, I do believe you. And Emily goes, don't say but, don't say but. Like she just want to leave it there. And she goes, no, oh, okay. No, I actually believe you. Okay, now somehow Megan is sitting in that chair next to Gina. And so Bronwyn is kind of like, I don't know if she stood up then to let Megan sit in the chair or what, but she's standing and she's right next to Tamara. And Tamara's like, oh my God, I touched her vagina. I accidentally touched her vagina. And Bronwyn goes, and I liked it. And they're laughing so hard. And okay, I'm going to show you in this picture right here, far left, that woman with the bun in her hair, she's the one that had that reaction shot. Like she was so disgusted. Look how close she is to that table. And also, I believe she's finally getting into it. She's finally embracing the fact that it is not just dinner, but it's dinner and a show. I mean, not a good show, but a show nonetheless. Okay, so Shannon gets a very chaste kiss from Tamara. She insists that Tamara leave her tongue out of it. But Tamara and Bronwyn get into it a little more seriously. And they're screeching and there are heads turning. In Bronwyn's confessional, she said that Eddie is a very lucky man. Is he though? And Vicky, oh God. Vicky is so woke, you guys. In her confessional, she said, so I don't know what's happening here with Bronwyn and Tamara. I don't know why they're kissing like that. Like, I understand two girls kissing, but they're not lesbians. So how is this happening? I should also tell you that the whole time this hijinks is going on, at the other end of the table, Gina and Emily are having a very serious conversation. Emily is explaining to her that they don't even know this cousin very well. And Shane has just reconnected with him very recently. And Gina's like, okay, that kind of explains a lot because I thought that, this is a cousin. Of course you're gonna know if he's got a girlfriend. And Emily's like, yeah, we hardly knew him. And Gina goes, but you have to understand, if I'm mad at you and I don't talk to you, then you feel abandoned and you can't just jump to that. I can be mad at you. If you haven't noticed already, I am loving all the hand gestures in the confessionals. I mean, I express myself with my hands a lot, but this is like a level above that. Now we are in Gina's confessional, which never disappoints. And she said, yeah, Emily and I, it's just, I have to be careful, with our relationship, you have something, and if you damage it, and it doesn't heal correctly, it's vulnerable. I mean, that was some next level handwork. Oh, I just saw my kindred spirit in the background here. That would be me, the lady with the camera, just blatantly airing the whole thing. That would be some juicy stuff that you guys would be the first to see. Unfortunately, I don't live around any. If they do a Real Housewives of Chicago one day, I don't know. I feel like they already thought of that idea and it didn't work. I don't know why. I think it's the Midwest thing, We're not crazy enough. Although I'm sure you could come up with enough crazy people here. Okay, so next Where are we? Everyone's just at the table getting really drunk. Bronwyn and Tamara are still making out. This is so funny. You know how Shannon has a couple of friends there and I didn't even bother to learn their names? One of them is sitting next to Kelly on the other side of the table. And Tamara is across from Kelly and she goes, "Kelly, who are you talking to?" It's possible she meant on her phone because I think she might have had her phone out. But I think it's funnier to think that she didn't know who Shannon's friend was. Anyway, 2 seconds after she asks the question, she falls onto the floor of this restaurant. We see another disgusted reaction shot from the lady in the bun. Sister, I'm on to you. You are loving every minute of this, so do not act like you hate it. Although, given what I said earlier about my dream, I really can't fault her because that probably would be me. Loving every second, but also giving those all-important reaction shots. Vicky is standing over Tamara trying to pull her up, and she's like, come on, I'm going to pee in my pants, which would not be good because she is standing right over Tamara's face. And finally, Tamara goes, "You're standing on my hair." So that makes her fall into a fit of giggles. She falls. Everyone's on the ground. Well, those three are on the ground. Gina is blowing the train whistle, which, thank God, is probably the most pleasant whistle sound there is. Do you never notice that? Like a train whistle, it's just like a nice tone. It's not shrill or anything. In Gina's confessional, she said, "When I turn 55, there is no way I'm going to end up on the floor of a restaurant." You never know, Gina, because this is your crew. Okay, how much of this next scene can I even report? Or, like, the better question is, how much do I even want to report? They've eaten dinner. They go next door to this bar with a dance floor. Right away, Bronwyn is kind of like she's getting down low and rubbing up on Tamara, and the two of them are doing whatever, their thing. Vicky gets a little upset about that, and she wants to go home. I don't want a dad's like Broadwood. I don't like that. And Shannon's like, "Oh, come on, don't go home." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't like this. I'm gonna go home." And so then Shannon's like, "Well, okay." So she kisses her goodbye. Then she's saying, I guess Vicky's saying goodbye to Gina, and she's telling her, I don't like the way Bronwyn's annoying me. I don't like the way she's dancing like a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old? Like, what 12-year-old dances like that? Anyway, I don't even know if this is all in the right order. Vicky leaves. Kelly gives $200 to a bouncer to dance sexy for Shannon. But I think he's kind of into Kelly because he said that white dress girl is fine. Then we see this sort of like this boomerang thing going on with Tamara and Bronwyn where Tamara's butt is in Bronwyn's face. And I mean, it's a lot. And it's not like all that entertaining. You know how like when you're out with a bunch of friends and you're drinking and there is like a sweet spot where you're just tipsy enough to be laughing and everybody's having a good time and they're funny and it's hilarious. But then when you drink past that point, it's only funny to you and nobody else. And that's where we are. I like Emily's confessional because she's like, what is happening here? Like, am I in Amsterdam? Like, are they going to bring out animals next? Is there a donkey coming? Bronwyn has Tamara down in like a booth and she's on top of her. And okay, here's what I think. I think Tamara is all talk and no action. And she likes to pretend that she's wilder than she is. Bronwyn is really into Tamara. She's like on top of her and she like leans down. She's like, I find you so hot. Tamara, okay. Good response. And Bronwyn goes, and I like you. Added bonus. Shannon is full on making out with some dude, which is fine with me because he seems age appropriate and everything. The bouncers have like Kelly over their shoulder. Like I said, there's a lot going on here. So that was it. People then, I guess they just went home. Next, we are at Kelly's beach house with Dr. Brian Reagan. They're out on the balcony having some wine, and he said, boy, those pictures you sent me from Sabika's. Earlier in the restaurant, when Tamra and Shannon and Vicky were on the floor, Kelly got up from her seat and was videotaping them with her phone. So, tit for tat, this is just what they do to each other, I guess. He said, wow, that footage was, you guys had a wild time. And he goes, but I couldn't believe how angry you were when you got back. And she goes, yeah, because I was upset. And then what he says next is just a very interesting defense. He says, I didn't appreciate how my not reaching out and calling you affected you. I'm like, why is she so mad at me? All I did was not call her back. So he's explaining after surgery, he needs some downtime and, she just needs to know that about him. And she goes, you don't have to be obnoxious though. And he said, I try not to be. Everything about him I find obnoxious, but I don't really think he was being obnoxious. We saw that text thread and it was pretty tame. I think she kind of took it the wrong way. Okay, now we start to see where all the little cracks are in this relationship. He didn't appreciate that she bought his son a PlayStation 4 without asking first. And so there's all these little things happening. Anyway, I guess those two crazy kids are going to still try to make it work. For now at least. She told him, I danced with a bouncer last night. And he goes, oh yeah, did you? Did you give him your best moves? Yeah. Gave him my best moves. Then, of course, we see a flashback to that night, and her best moves involve her putting his head in her crotch and then getting carried off, so I don't think she mentioned that. And she goes, I get jealous because you look at boobs all day for your work. Do you ever motorboat them? And he's like, no. I'm sorry, are you seriously asking a plastic surgeon if he motorboats these women while they're under anesthesia? Like, is that what you're asking? Kelly. Anyway, that is where this episode ends. Not a moment too soon. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. I truly do love to hear from you guys. I will be back right here next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County. I hope you join me. Bye.